Hey, world. Being able to come back live in the garden, family. Wait a couple of minutes to see who's gonna come in the garden. Hope everybody out there doing okay tonight. Just gonna talk about a couple of things, family. I mean, information I came across, and man, it's kind of crazy, family. You get a chance to check out me last night. I went live for a couple of minutes, not long, but I wanted to come live tonight. I had a couple of things I want to talk about and just kind of bring you up to date on a couple of things that I've been seeing a lot of people, on the television. I'm in here in H-Town, and seeing some people walk around with the mask on. And family, make sure you hit that like button, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share the videos. I'm here in H-Town, family. I think I'm buffering. If I'm buffering, I hope I'm not buffering. But I'm here in H-Town, and I've been seeing a lot of people with the masks on. It's kind of been gradually, the numbers are getting higher and higher. But if you haven't done any of the research on what the coronavirus is, go to the American Medical Association Encyclopedia, go to WebMD, and it's going to trip you out. Because it's like, so I used to be a paramedic, but he's a fire department, he used to be EMT, whatnot, back in the 90s. And, the flu epidemic has been something that we've been dealing with for many, many years. I mean, it was really one of the more serious illnesses that, as an EMT, that we would have to go pick up more people to transport them to the hospital. And we're talking from all ages, mostly the younger generation, the younger people, younger patients, and the elderly. That flu virus affects a lot of people, but it affects most of that particular demographic, very, very young, and the ones that are senior citizens. Genuine love, what it do? And so my whole point is this. According to American Medical Association and according to WebMD, the coronavirus is the common cold, all right? Symptoms, upper respiratory symptoms like sneezing, coughing, congestion, runny nose, okay? So it's basically the common cold. And so when you hear or when you know that it's a common cold, you got to really ask yourself, then why, what's all the emergency talk about? Why aren't they telling people that the coronavirus is the common cold? Is basically another form of the flu. But the influenza that we deal with over here, family, is 1,000 times worse. I mean, just look at the numbers. They say 7,000 people contracted or has this coronavirus. If you didn't get to check me out the other day, 80,000 people died of the flu in 2018. On average in America, you have between 12 to 36,000 people die of the flu every year. See, so we got to understand, okay, well, if that's the case, then why? What's all the drama for? Exactly. You see, it all comes back to, diversions. All comes back to what's your focus on. You dig? I mean, this has been happening. It's not the first time it's happened. I mean, you go back to when they had the MERS. Go back to when they had SARS. That was all respiratory condition. That was all different names for the flu. I mean, what's it called? The Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. That was MERS. 800 people died from it? And that was in Middle East, Saudi Arabia. The severe acute respiratory syndrome, which was SARS. 770 people died from it? My whole point is this. These are all just different forms of the flu. It's basically another way to try to encourage more people or scare more people into getting these vaccinations. Family, if you look at the title, I said investment sectors. Well, I'm going to talk about one particular sector, which is the pharmaceutical sector. I mean, if you're invested in any type of sector and you're talking about becoming wealthy and increasing your financial worth, man, the pharmaceutical companies are what you need to invest in. I mean, who you think is coming up with all these vaccination, immunizations, and all these medications? They don't care about the patients. They only care about the shareholders. The government don't care about the patients. If they continue to let these pharmaceutical companies continue to price gouge all of these medications. All right. For instance, insulin. I mean, the price of insulin doubled since 2012, and more people being diagnosed with diabetes. Now think about that. How is it that more people are being diagnosed with diabetes, but the price of insulin is doubling? We over here in the United States pay almost 100% more for insulin and medications than other countries do. That's a problem, especially when you have people dying of diabetes and can't afford it. All right. And so, Ben, I do want to come back and kind of bring you up to date on this coronavirus thing and let you know, please, family, recognize diversions. The coronavirus, look it up yourself, do your research. It is the common cold. Why would it be called the common cold in the American Medical Association Encyclopedia and on WebMD as the common cold? Because they know no one's going to look at it. They know no one's going to research it. Okay, LT, what it do? Letitia in the house. So, just basically differentiating between what's real and what's not. Because what's real is, I don't know if you heard about in West Virginia, family, they had these 11 veterans. And that's why I'm going to this. 11 veterans were killed, okay, in a VA hospital in West Virginia. That's not cool. And how were they killed? They were killed, and to me, this is a serial killer. If it's 11 veterans, and when I mean veterans of the military, at one particular VA hospital, over a 1 year span between 2017 and 2018, all die of something called hypoglycemia. And fam, if you don't know what hypoglycemia is, that's basically when you have low sugar. If you have family members that have diabetes, they have to have insulin to regulate their sugars, to break down sugar. Well, if you have too much insulin in your system, then you would basically die of what they call hypoglycemia. Yeah, Scott, I can dig it. It's the common cold that kills you. But I mean, there's not a cure for a common cold because it's a virus. And so when you have that, what's the best remedy for that? Okay, it's not getting the vaccination. We know that's not true because a lot of people die after getting the flu shot. So I definitely feel you on that, Scott. But I mean, come on, man. To not let people know of its properties, not let people know, not let the masses know that, okay, guys, it's like the flu. It's a common cold. Treat it like the common cold. Because if you treat it like the common cold, you can't cure yourself. You can heal yourself. Make yourself feel better. All right, but these are scare tactics to get people. I'm telling you, in the next couple of months, you're going to hear about these vaccinations for this coronavirus. And it's just another flu shot, okay? So be careful about that, family. Don't be running up to Walgreens trying to get coronavirus flu shots when it's just another flu shot, okay? And ask yourself, how many times have you received a flu shot and it's helped you? And what's in flu shots? Have you asked yourself that question? I mean, I was told that the flu shot is basically them, injecting the flu in you. You did. So that your body will build up an immunity to it. So when you get it, you'll be okay. Huh? Family, that doesn't make sense. You're going to inject me with the flu so that my body can build up antibodies to build up an immunity against the flu. A strand of DNA from the flu is the flu shot. Exactly. Now, where did the strand come from? You dig? I mean, so if it's a strand of the DNA, a strand of DNA from the flu that's in the flu shot, so they're basically giving you the flu, how is that supposed to cure you? And how does that logically build up your immune system? Your body can learn it without being attacked. Random redneck, I hear you. Okay, I hear you. But the body is such a huge, immunity system itself that, the whole notion to have to be vaccinated for something that you don't have to me, it's just we have to be really cognitively dissonant to not to even fall for that. You dig? I mean, it's obvious that it'd be different if these flu shots or these vaccinations that they give us were free. That's really telling me that they have the best interest at heart. Family, just joining me, fam. I'm talking about the coronavirus. And thanks for joining me in the garden. I'm talking about the coronavirus and how it's basically the common cold, the flu. But if you look at the news on television and look at what's going on around the world, you would think it was the next coming of the Ebola, which I don't know anybody's ever died of that. Wow. Genuine love. Much. That's what's up. She said, let's see here. It's on the can of Lysol that it kills coronavirus that's been around for years. How about that? In the plague, some people walked around with no cover and somehow did not get affected. How about that? Victoria. Right there, yeah. Yeah, no doubt, Victoria. I mean, it's when you start putting two and two together, family, start opening up the third eye, you'll start recognizing what's real and what's not real. I mean, let's just think about those. If you are politically conscious and you participate in the political system, I just gotta ask. I mean, what do you get out of it? Because you have to know that the legislative branch, judicial branch, and the executive branch does not have the best interest of the citizens at heart at all. You have to know that. Because how can you have a whole body, a legislative branch, a whole body of people, over 400 something congressmen, right? Not know that increasing the price of insulin, letting these pharmaceutical companies double the price of medication, how that's not going to affect the U.S. citizen. Come on. How is it that we have homeless veterans on the streets? How? And the last how is it that you have all of these veterans that serve in the military come home with horrific injuries, both physically, psychologically, emotionally, and have to be assigned to one hospital, to one district of hospitals, the VA. What politician hadn't one day thought, you know what? Veterans should be able to go to any hospital of their choice, should be able to go to any therapeutic center of their choice. They should not have to be designated to the VA hospital. Is it me? Family, let me know, is it me? How is it that veterans are designated to one hospital? How is it that veterans have to wait on referrals for weeks, sometimes months, to see a specialized doctor? Veterans should be able to go to any hospital of their choice. And I'm telling you, being an EMT here in Houston and actually transporting veterans to the VA hospital here in Houston, it used to hurt my heart. The treatment that they receive, it used to hurt my heart. And so when I hear about this story here in West Virginia at the VA hospital where 11 veterans were killed, I mean, that is a serial killer. 11 veterans died at one hospital, family, and it was located up there in Clarksville, West Virginia at the VA. No doubt, Victoria, this should be at the top of the list. Yep, and I promise you, though, that's the demographic that I preach the choir to, our veterans, our elderly, and our children. But if you look at their predicament in our society, it makes you wonder. Like I said, I used to be a CPS worker, Children Protective Services, and I used to go to these shelters. I used to go to family courts, dealing with certain abuse cases. And it just blows me away how the system let our kids get treated like this after being in abusive situations. It blows me away how that we see our senior citizens in these nursing homes, how they let them get away with the type of treatment. So if you voting, I mean, could you write to your politician and find out what the hell going on? I mean, why are they letting the most vulnerable people in our society be the ones that are victimized the most? Okay. Now, random redneck, they sometimes have special disabilities that regular hospitals can't treat. Well, what about that veteran that's in the city or town that where there's not a VA hospital, right? They should be able to go to any hospital, any treatment, any diagnosis that a veteran has. They are hospitals all over that can treat that. You dig? The VA hospital is not giving them any more specialized treatment than any other hospital that could. Right? And so when you see these commercials on the television about be all you can be, they make the military so glorious, so adventurous. But then when you see the commercials about the Wounded Warriors, and the Wounded Warriors is a nonprofit organization that needs money or asks people for $19.95 a month to help out the warriors or help out the wounded veterans. They don't talk about that. How is it that we need nonprofit organizations to take care of our veterans? Okay. And like I say, and how is it, before I get up out of here, family, how is it that they tell us that these vaccinations and these immunizations that they're giving our children at birth and that they give most people that pay for them, they actually know how the body's going to react to it, right? Why would you do that when you know that there are people that actually die from actually receiving these shots? You know why? Because they don't put that out there. That's research you have to do yourself. Okay? Because if you don't do it yourself, then you're going to be just like everyone else and be in that long ass line where people are dying. It's not an accident, family, that the third leading cause of death in America comes from hospital errors. Okay? Malpractices. Check it out. It ain't, and when you talk about high blood pressure, diabetes, cancers, heart disease, a lot of that stuff is caused by the food we eat, okay? And the stress that we allow them to put on us by letting all this stuff affect us. Stress can pretty much permeate through your body and cause the physical illness, family. So manifest more positive thoughts, because remember, all your thoughts that you create, okay, can come to reality. If it's positive thoughts, you can have a positive day. If it's negative thoughts, you have a negative day. Family. I'm telling you, that's the secret, okay? There's only one time, it's now. There's no past, there's no future. Your past is just collection of memories back there. And your future are just imaginations and dreams. The only thing that we know that's happening is right now, right? So I really appreciate you guys being in the garden with me. Genuine love, your dad served in Germany. And you know what's so crazy? The veterans that after serving realize the real situation, right? You notice we never ever, Genuine Love, Dad, we never ever get to hear from those people. They never get a platform to warn, incoming people or prospective people that want to join the armed services, give them the reality of it. So if you know that's the case, come on now. There's no good intentions. Remember, we got over 500,000 homeless people right there in California. You got your judicial system right now, okay? They are more interested in this impeachment trial than hearing the cases of what's going on right now. We got people that are homeless that cities and states can't do anything about them, about homeless people, sleeping outside on their sidewalks or in front of the businesses. And you know what? What can you do? Where are they going to go? And remember, all these taxes that we pay. Jasmine, what it do? All the taxes that we pay. You would think that with 3 people, okay, over 45-50% of the wealth in America, just 3 people. And then when you have people like Ted Turner that owns almost 2 million acres of land in the United States. You got another guy, I think his last name is Morgan or something, owns 1 million acres of land. How does a government allow people to own this much land when you have this many people homeless? Yeah. Right. And so I tell you, I've always thought that this society that we're living in is something backwards about it, because it just doesn't make sense when you have vulnerable people in our society being victimized like that. It just doesn't make sense. And so it's evil, right? And then, but if you flip the word evil around, it's live. And so a lot of these people they live to be evil. You cannot rationalize it no other way. How do you increase drug prices on senior citizens when you know they're on a fixed budget? How do you know that our senior citizens that's on Social Security, mind you, $1,400 a month, maybe $1,200 a month, can't survive off of that, right? Get another job to try to make ends meet, and you tax their Social Security? Who does that? Who does that? Austin Nice, no, LT, raising money for Australia, huh? And it's so crazy. Letitia, I was just in Austin, and it tripped me out how the Austin police chief talking about he's still gonna pull over and arrest individuals for smoking marijuana, even though hemp is legal. Now, see, I'm gonna do the research and find out who he's pulling over, who he's allowed to be pulled over, because that's ridiculous. All right, Austin is pretty much becoming San Francisco. It's ridiculous. Okay, I mean, anytime you had them, and like I said, I went to high school in Austin, and I've never seen that many homeless people in Austin. And then, like I say, and they shut down 12 schools in Austin, all located on the east side, where the minorities and low economic students and communities are. They closed those schools down. They want to close those schools down and send all those kids to overpopulated charter schools. But they got the kids' best interests at heart. You see what I'm talking about? But when you have these diversions like the impeachment trial, Kobe Bryant's death, and like I said, when I seen the helicopter is black, but the crash site shows something blue and white. So it's like, all of this here, and then you have the coronavirus version. So you got all this stuff. You got the Super Bowl coming. You got the Grammys. You got all of this stuff, okay? Because they know that if they keep you preoccupied on all of this stuff, this minutia of misinformation, disinformation, you're not going to focus on your taxes. You're not going to focus on paying yourself first and investing and building your own wealth. Remember, it's only a small percentage of people that invest. Most people have one income, and I promise you, that one income is not going to help you when you get older. We don't know this because we're still in an age where we're earners. But if you don't increase your streams of income, multiple streams of income. And when you get multiple streams of income, make sure that one of them goes directly to your investment, to your retirement only. It doesn't do any good for you to be making $70,000 on your regular job. Then you get your hustle making $20,000, and then you just flip that together, say $90,000, then that's it. No, that $20,000 need to go all towards your retirement. And then you need to be getting your research and understanding different products, retirement products that you can use. When you talk about life insurance policies, you talk about annuities, you talk about IRAs. All right, these are all products that paying yourself first and building that up. It's going to help in the long run, because I promise you, it's a scary, scary thought, knowing that when you 65, 66, 68 years old and you get Social Security, and it's only $1,400 a month or $1,600 a month, high end $2,000 a month, and you got inflation at 2% every year. You did? So, my young audience in the garden, please start investing your time and energy on a retirement plan. It's never too early to start. Make sure that your purchases are assets and not liabilities. If you're giving out something every month, that's a liability, okay? Wow. And I can say, hey, family, thank you, Gene, my love. Quarantine sites. Now, let me ask you a question. When was the last time they had quarantine sites for flu here? Now, remember, just in 2018, 80,000 people died of the flu. Did they have quarantine sites? Were people walking around in masks? Because remember, the coronavirus is just like the flu, a common cold. You did? So remember, this is not by accident. They have an objective for doing this. Why would you make this such a huge thing when you know it's just the common cold, just the flu? Why would you do that? Let me check you out there, Random. Retirement should be split into stocks and put in a safe due to if the market crash, you still have cash. And that's called diversification, Random Redneck. You want to have stocks. You want to have cash. You want to have bonds. You want to have real estate. But when you talk about just putting it up in cash, make sure that cash is more of an emergency fund type of situation, because if it's just cash, then you remember, cash is losing purchasing power every day. It's just sitting cash. Yes, you want cash, but you want to make sure that you hedge against that cash. So I would even the safest investment that you can ever put your money in, where you know you're not going to lose any principal, is in U.S. Treasuries. Okay, U.S. Treasuries, right? Silver. Hey, I'm telling you right now, when this market crashes, family, gold, silver, metals are going to be on the rise. And so if you are doing any type of investments right now, or if you're looking to do any type of investments, and like I said, this for entertainment purposes only, family, look into the gold stocks. Look into gold stocks. Look into pharmaceutical stocks. Look into oil stocks, right? Because purchasing gold itself, yeah, it's cool. Precious metals is cool to have, but you also want to make sure that there's a liquidity value there, because in times of emergency, you can't spend gold. You dig? So, I mean, yes, you want to have that type of diversification, but we got to make sure liquidity is the main, objective. And what I mean by liquidity, that means being able to get cash when you need it. And that's why I would, Random, when you're saying somebody have cash, yes, you want to have some cash for emergencies. You want to have cash. And I would even suggest family having 3 to 6 months of your bills in cash. You dig? Because right now, what the research I did not too long ago said, 70% of people, 70% of United States citizens can't afford a $600 emergency, let alone a $1,000 emergency. Think about that. That's just a car note and rent. So if you can't handle that type of situation, family, it's time to start paying yourself first. Okay? Hey, and I'm right there with you, Genuine. Matter of fact, I just turned 51 last month. And if I'd have had this knowledge, it wasn't all inundated when I was a youngster with sports and entertainment and all that crap, and not paying attention to the markets like I do now, I'd have been rich a long time ago. You dig? But the beautiful thing about it, this economy is cyclical. Okay? It's been doing this since the Great Depression. What, up and down, up and down. Like Genuine said, I missed the crash in 2000. I missed the crash in 1987. I missed the crash in 2000. I missed the crash in 2008. It's 2020 now, fam, and it's going to happen again. And I'm telling you, I can't reiterate it enough. It's going to be a great opportunity to gain wealth. What do you think these rich people are doing right now? They stacking their cash. Remember, they're pumping up the market so that people the people that don't know any better can continue to put their money in the market when they already know they're going to sell everything and crash it. Because remember, this whole market this whole economy right now is propped up on debt. Okay, these low interest rates and zero interest rates that they've been, talking so highly about, and how Trump is saying he want to even lower the interest rates. You know who that benefits? The rich, billionaires, because now they can get loans and not spend their own money. You dig? And so low interest rates don't help us. I mean, think about this. You got your president of the United States on national television telling the Federal Reserve, lower interest rates. We want you to lower interest rates. Knowing that if you lower interest rates, your cash that's sitting in those savings accounts, they're going to lose value. I mean, you know what I mean? The millions and millions of people that have monies in savings account that's falling for the lies of Wells Fargo and Bank of America and Chase, because all those commercials. You go put your money in their banks, they giving you pennies on the dollar. And then when they talking about lowering interest rates, guess what? You're getting less money on your dollar. Nephew, what it do? You dig? And so it's cognitive dissonance. Family, you just joining me, family. Appreciate you joining me in the garden. We were just rapping about the coronavirus hoax. It's just a common cold. We're talking about, how the VA hospital is a joke because the way they treat our veterans, and how the government is a joke. They give them Veterans Day and Memorial Day, right? But they can't go to any hospital in the nation that they want to. They have to pay for prescription drugs. They have to pay for therapy. They have to pay for psychiatric help. But you're giving them Memorial Day and you give them Veterans Day. Shaking and faking. You dig? So that's what we've been talking about, family, for the last 30 minutes. And also, guys, if you get a chance, make sure you look into that story out there in West Virginia where 11 veterans were killed by this one nurse's aide. What was she doing? What was he doing? Injecting insulin, actually giving them overdoses of insulin, and they were actually dying of something called hypoglycemic. And hypoglycemic is basically low sugar. If any of you guys have family members that have diabetes, if you ever see them have to take those shots, right? They have to take those shots because the pancreas isn't excreting enough insulin to break down the sugar. Okay, and that's why you have hypo and hyperglycemia. And anytime someone is injected too much with insulin, it can kill you. You go into what they call insulin shock. And these 11 veterans, and this just happened last year, so why wasn't this on the television? MSNBC, Fox, CNN, ABC, CBS. None of you guys reported 11 veterans? It's not news? You did? Okay? So family, make sure you pay yourself first. And like I say, if just to get that, if you want to check it out yourself, in the American Medical Association Encyclopedia, coronavirus is defined as a common cold. WebMD, if you want to look up on WebMD, it's the common cold. Okay? But they have us, those that are not in the garden, thinking that this is some big pandemic. 150 some people done died. I think 170 some people. I think 7,000 people done contracted it, right? 80,000 died in 2018 of the flu in the United States. Average of 36,000 people die in the United States of the flu every year. Where's the alarm for us? Okay? E1. No doubt. No doubt. Hey, family, stay conscious, all right? Appreciate you guys joining me in the garden. I'm about to get up on out of here. I hope it was a little food for thought. Hope everybody continue to pay themselves first. Get ready for this market crash. Family, like I said, let me just reiterate, when the market does crash, and it's going to crash, do your research. Gold stocks are going to be in the know, oil stocks. And the reason why I say oil stocks, because, and this ain't in the news either, Trump just signed the USMCA agreement. That's the new trade agreement between Canada, United States, and Mexico. All right. So it's going to be a lot of good things happening in reference to the cannabis industry, oil industry, gold industry, agriculture, all right, pharmaceuticals, right? So let's not be ones that's left out again this time. Do your research, stack that change, and then when this market crash, I'm always going to be coming back with a lot of information, family, and we're gonna get this money, get this wealth. No, it's not a virus. It's common flu. It's common cold. No, do your research. All right. Well, family, in the meantime, between time, may the Most High Inside bring you joy. Let's see, Letitia, Random, Marcus, E1, Genuine Love, everybody in the house. Appreciate you. And being one is out of 5,000.